Shalom, Salam, Ashe, Hotep, and Amen. Okay. Next word I wish to expound on is the word shame, broken down into sham me or sham myself. Now, shame is a feeling or a situation where you've done something or committed an action, and after that action you feel guilty and know as though you have committed an improper action, okay, or an unrighteous act. And also shame is when someone outside of a situation to tell another person that they should be ashamed of themselves for committing certain acts. Now, it's important on your life's journey to know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, or what serves you, what doesn't serve you. You have to do as much as you can, do what you will to know who you are, to know what principles you live and stand by, to overstand your place in the equation of what we call existence. Because if you don't, you will allow yourself to be placed in situations and experiences that will allow you to feel as though you could be ashamed, think low of yourself, to allow yourself to feel as though that what you've done has allowed you to be the lowest of the lowest. I'm not necessarily saying that shame is so-called a negative or a positive. It is what it is. Whenever you commit an act, for example, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to laugh when I say this, you've had this situation where you like a person or you feel that you feel in a person, and immediately after you and this person join or have sex, immediately after the euphoria is gone and you have climaxed or bust that nut or whatever, immediately afterwards you look at the person and you know, I shouldn't have done this with this individual. Now a lot of you are like, ooh, he hit it on the nail. That arises because of the fact we either jumped in the sack too quick, and we also don't know this person. Why? Most often, the situation or the relationship that we have with an individual may be merely because of convenience, not because we really have any true and real feelings for the individual. There could have been a situation where, like once, for example, with myself, I was in a situation once where I was going through a deep emotional period with a sister, and there were other sisters who came around me at that time who, I guess you could say, provided an emotional support, an emotional crutch. And so I figured because they're around at my moment of need and blah 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 and all of this stuff, that they were the better ones for me. And then immediately after intimacy, it was like, wow, what am I doing? And then now I'm feeling ashamed. I'm feeling guilt because I was not joining and connecting with this individual for true, genuine intent and purpose. It was to, in so many words, get me through an emotional time by connecting with another person emotionally rather than moving through my situation first. And I will admit that there has been a couple of sisters who have felt quite hurt from those past situations of mine. And as I've said before, I knew immediately after I did what I did, it was like, this is foul. It's only recently a few times that I've been intimate to where I can say, yeah, this was great. This was for the proper reasons. This was for the proper purpose. And it's interesting because of the fact a lot of us are just, in so many words, fucking around just for the sake of fucking around and not having any true intents and purposes. Okay? We have to realize that whenever we join with another individual, we are creating an androgyny with ourselves by connecting, and we are also creating mental offspring along with the mental offspring that we've already created ourselves and with other individuals. And we have to understand that if we're not choosing our partners, our consorts properly, we can be generating energy that would allow unrighteous manifestations of younglings, progeny, offspring to come into play and effect. I remember when I first learned about that universal principle, I immediately went into contemplation to dharmically face all of the different actions that I placed forth in the past that may not have been righteous or may have been for truly selfish purposes. And you will feel when you do that some shame. So what I say to you when it deals with shame or being ashamed, understand why you did what you did. Understanding why you did what you did brings forth the healing process. And if you go through it the proper way, you will be able to not allow yourself to be in situations of that sort again, and to also cause other individuals or aid in them feeling the same way. Let's see. Skeptic is the next word. A skeptic pretty much is someone who wishes to prove something wrong, to doubt something, and have no power unless they attempted to convince, that something is wrong. Skeptics are people who feel that they know a lot, very intellectually inclined, however, haven't experienced a particular thing. Now, I realize there's some things out there that are just utter bull. Okay, we know this. However, when it comes to affairs and workings of the higher mental planes, that of the spirit, that of natural forces, that's something nobody can really teach you. They can tell you about their experiences, and they can tell you about how they got there. However, that's something you have to experience. That's where the skeptic cuts off. And with that extreme intellectualism, they cut themselves off from really investigating and knowing the real in back of anything, or the real with all things. It's like doubting is an energy rush for them, So with that, I will conclude this post and bring forth another. Until then, Hotep.